here.
And Fox 45 News brought it to you live.
If you're in Park Lane, you need to be in the basement.
First on the scene from the area's hardest hit.
Sounded like Velcro ripping off the house.
Reporting live by the second as weather happened. When severe weather hits again, trust Fox 45 News. We'll alert you and keep you safe.
All right, back on the air again. The tornado warning has been reissued now for Greene County. This is a larger warning than we had when we left you about 8 minutes ago when the warning was canceled. They have reissued it, the Weather Service has, as they're now seeing the rotation a little bit more pronounced within this cell here to the west of Xenia. Those of you in Xenia, the warning bisects the city right now, but you're really not in line to get this particular storm, at least where the tornado could be, as it is slowly drifting to the north-northwest. So those of you in the Bellbrook area up towards Beaver Creek, especially Beaver Creek Township along the Little Miami River there, that's the area where we're looking at. Let me show you the rotation, which is very, very weak. I'm telling you, we've got some outgoing. The way that we look at this is we have outgoing and ingoing winds here, and the center is right in this area right here. This is very weak rotation. Nonetheless, though, they're seeing enough of it that they believe, the Weather Service believes, that there could be a possibility of a spin up here. This is, again, radar indicated like it was previously with the warning. No visual signs whatsoever that we have a tornado here by any means, but we do have the rotating winds within the storm, certainly. And that is what we're going to be keeping attention, pay close attention to with this particular storm. Let me again show you where we are looking at in terms of an area here. We're going to zoom in on this particular one, and we're south of US 35. We are looking at areas around Upper Bellbrook, Stewart Road. We're looking here to the northeast of Bellbrook. That is Indian Ripple right there. And also we're looking at areas, again, Beaver Creek Township and Sugar Creek Township, northeast of Bellbrook, west of Xenia. This is the area, and the rotation is most likely going to be in the vicinity of this area right here where we're looking at it. So again, give you some roads in that area. There's a new update, new radar imagery here, and now it almost looks like the rotation may have shifted a little bit to the east, and perhaps we're seeing it more in this area here. So give you some roads there. We're talking about, let's see here, we've got Van Eaton Road. Again, that's Upper Bellbrook. This is just to the east of the Narrows Reserve in Greene County. Those are the areas we're talking about here, as this is going to be slowly heading up towards you in Beaver Creek as well. So if you're watching us from Beaver Creek, you are in this warning, and you need to be heading to your safe place, especially on the east side of Beaver Creek. Those of you that live near US 35 between Xenia and Beaver Creek need to be getting to a safe spot. Those of you actually in Bellbrook proper, you are now not in danger anymore, as this storm has now lifted off to the north of you. This is the area right here we're talking about with the potential rotation. Again, radar indicated, no signs visually of a tornado with this one, and that was the case with the warning earlier down near the Warren County line, and also with the one we had back around 6 o'clock out in Preble County. Although we did actually have, with some of those storms west of Dayton, a visual wall cloud. So there was a broad rotation within the storm. We just never had the actual funnel drop out of it down to the ground. And that's probably the case with this one as well. A broad rotation within the storm right here, southeast of Beaver Creek, southwest of Xenia. And within that, there could end up being a funnel cloud dropping down, although we have no indications visually of that whatsoever. Just radar indicated rotation within this particular storm. Again, moving slowly to the north-northwest. So those of you on the east side of Beaver Creek, certainly in line for the storm. The warning is actually all the way north to Fairborn and the southern edge of space, although it's going to be a while until the dangerous part of the storm makes it up towards you. Right now we're talking about the Beaver Creek area, Bellbrook, northeast of Bellbrook, Sugar Creek Township, Beaver Creek Township, Xenia Township. Kind of the townships converge to the areas between Xenia, Beaver Creek, and Bellbrook. That's the area we're talking about. No lightning with this. At least we're not getting any signs of any cloud-to-ground strikes on the radar with this particular storm. And that may be the case. Actually, let's check this again. Yeah, no lightning with that whatsoever, and that's been the case. We've had very little lightning. Just there's a general wind setup to get some of these individual cells east of 75 to be able to have the potential to rotate a little bit. And I mentioned this. We've got this cell earlier. If you're with us about 20 minutes or so ago, we have this particular cell, but we have others as well east of 75. And let me zoom out a little bit and show you what I'm talking about. This one especially now in northeastern Clark County, southeastern Champaign County. We're going to have to watch this one carefully. We do have in the Catawba area down towards Mutual as well. And we now have a new tornado warning as well. So we've got two of them. Just as I was talking about this, these individual cells east of 75, the potential for some rotation, we now have two of them. We've got this one here. This warning goes until 8:45, and also this one, which is just the far southeastern Greene County and also western Fayette County, just west of the Jeffersonville outlets is where this particular cell is, near Jamestown, just east of Jamestown. That now has a warning until that goes until 9 o'clock. So we've got two warnings here in eastern and western Greene County. And those are the warnings that we do have. But again, as I mentioned, we'll have to watch this cell as well in southeastern Champaign and northeastern Clark. That could potentially also show some signs of rotation in time as well. So let me look at the velocities again within these storms. Very, very weak, right along I-71 with this particular one. And also with this one, we're looking at the rotation. Let me zoom in on this a little bit more. It's actually showing up a little bit better now in the areas here where we're seeing just east of Beaver Creek. Right along US 35 is where this rotation is. So we're talking about the area here that is right about where 35 crosses over the Little Miami River here. So give you some ideas of what we're talking about. Donham Road, Dumford Road, Orchard Court, just to give you some streets there. We're talking about the area just to the east of Factory Road, and also where the 35 crosses over the Little Miami River. And we are going to be continuing to watch this slowly drift northward. So those of you in the eastern suburbs of Beaver Creek, the eastern part of Beaver Creek, need to be getting to your safe spot. Basement best, lower level of the home, interior room, certainly. That's where we need to be paying close attention to this storm, which again is radar indicated. No visual signs of any tornado on the ground as of yet. We just got a new image here. And again, the rotation showing up in just about the same place here, just to the east side of US 35, just on the east side of Beaver Creek.
Hey, Jamie, you know, Deborah Linz coming in to talk to you, ask you a question right now.
Yeah.
Just, we've had 4 of these warnings in just the last couple of hours. What weather circumstances or weather conditions do you think actually triggered all these tornado warnings over the last few hours?
We just have the right setup for the wind fields above the ground here to get these storms to slowly rotate in a counterclockwise fashion. And what we have not had as of yet, because we haven't had any verified touchdowns, is we haven't had the circulations tighten up enough to get that funnel cloud to drop. We have some photos of some wall clouds from earlier this evening that somebody sent through the See It Send It on the Fox 45 app, and we had definitely the look of a slowly rotating cloud base that was descended from the storm. But by cloud base, I'm talking about you know, good half-mile across here, and nothing that has been sharpened to a very, very narrow spin to create the tornado. And we haven't had any tornadoes touch down, but again, we're seeing it right here. We're getting winds coming up into the storm like this, some winds back around like that. So we got this general rotation here right along US 35 east of Beaver Creek. And that's also the case with the cell that we have in far eastern Greene County. Let me zoom out again. And as I've mentioned, all these individual cells east of I-75 are going to have the possibility of getting some rotation going in them. So that one in southeastern Champaign County we'll have to keep a close eye on as well. And certainly the folks at the Weather Service are doing just that. And then as you expand the view here to the west of I-75, we just have this general area of rain. And these are likely not going to be able to produce any more tornado warnings at this point in the evening. The one that we did have earlier was on the eastern edge of this back when it was in Preble County. So we've got the possibility for rotation with these cells here, less likely off to the west with these cells here, and What they are doing, though, is producing an awful lot of rain. We've got flood advisories, some flash flood warnings down in Butler County as well, and they are going to continue to produce rain as we head through the evening and the night, and that's why we have the flash flood watch that is in effect as well. So here's the big picture, and these individual cells, again, showing the signs of rotation here. This is just a general area of rain that's going to continue to lift northward, but rain over the same places, so the flooding issue could end up getting worse in time as we head through the night. In fact, on the west side of Cincinnati, I've seen some photos of some areas where we have literally streams and creeks that have come on top of roads, and they're under 6 feet of water on the west side of Cincinnati. Hopefully we won't have to deal with any of that here in the Miami Valley. They have just whittled down the warning to the east here in eastern Greene County, so let's zoom in on that real quick. To right along the Greene-Fayette County line, just south of US 35, just west of I-71. So the Bowersville area is impacted by this east of Jamestown. Again, there's US 35 right there. Rosemore Road, Brakefield Road, Hargrave Road, some of the areas that are being impacted by this storm. And the rotation with this one looks pretty evident to be right in this area right here. So that is over the top of Plymouth Road out there into the far, far eastern part of Greene County. As I take you west now to the other cell, we're now west of Xenia. Bellbrook not in this warning. Beaver Creek is in this warning. Up towards the southern part of Fairborn, Fairfield Commons Mall is in this warning, and the rotation with this one looks to be pretty evident, as we've seen now with a couple of radar scans, to be now just north of US 35. In fact, we just got a new image there, just north of US 35 on the east side of Beaver Creek. Let's take a look at the velocity once again. Again, we're seeing it in the same places here, just to the north of US 35. So I'll give you some ideas of where we're talking about. Dayton-Xenia Road, that is Fairground Road, also Beaver Valley Road. That's the area in Beaver Creek that we're talking about, need to be in a safe place. I know we have a lot of subdivisions here just off of Beaver Valley Road here, up towards just north of there is where Siebenthalers is. A lot of you folks know where that is. That's the area under the gun right now. Need to be in your basement or lowest level room away from windows and stay in that safe place until we let you know that it's okay to head back to the other parts of the house, and just stay where you are, and we'll keep you through this. Turn up the TV as loud as you can, and we'll guide you through this audibly as we'll give you ideas of exactly where we're talking about with the roads. I'll let you know the roads are, the areas of town. Just got a new image there. Again, right in this area here, Beaver Valley's right here. A lot of subdivisions underneath this rotating cloud that has not, as of yet, dropped a tornado, but certainly there's the possibility that it could end up doing that. So we have the warning that I'm showing you here on the screen for western Greene County. That continues for 10 more minutes until 8:45. We also have the warning for eastern Greene County, just south of US 35, southeast of Jamestown. That warning goes until 9 o'clock tonight. And those are the only warnings that we do have right now. So again, we'll zoom out and show you flood advisories. Some of the flood advisories actually have been I believe dropped a few. No, they have not. They're still going there. Notice how little thunder and lightning we have with any of these storms, especially the ones in Greene County. Just some rainfall coming down. The winds that we will get with these tornadoes will be as weak as we get with tornadoes, which will be a good thing, obviously. We're probably talking 70 miles an hour at most. Still capable of damage, without a doubt, like some strong straight line winds, but these are not going to be tornadoes that knock down entire homes. These are going to be weak tornadoes that if you're in your safe spot, you will be just fine. Just get a couple of walls between you and the outside world, get to your basement, and you will get through this without any problem whatsoever. So as we talked about earlier, the acronym is DUCK, D-U-C-K, D, get down as low as you can, basement best, interior room on the first floor of your home. You get under something, cover yourself with a blanket, get underneath the stairwell in the basement, there we go, and get to a room that has no windows. That's important because broken glass is dangerous with strong winds. You want to get as many layers between you and the outside world as possible. C is cover your head, D-U-C-K, C, cover your head, and K is keep in your safe spot until that has passed. Now, thankfully for the western Greene County, we're not talking about an area with a lot of mobile homes. These are well-constructed homes. Safe spots will work very well with those. There may be some mobile homes with this warning in eastern Greene County, and you want to certainly get to a place that's safer than that as soon as the warning is issued if you have time, because mobile homes are not the safest place. Those strong winds can certainly knock those down, do some damage to them much more easily than a well-constructed home, without a doubt. Bicycle helmet you saw on your screen there. We tell all the kids as we were doing our Fox 45 Team Tornado, bicycle helmets are a great way to stay extra safe. They put yet another layer between you and the outside world, and the head trauma is one of the most common injuries with tornadoes. Also, covering yourself with a blanket is just another layer between you and the outside world, especially if there is any broken glass. That can certainly make the difference there. So again, the warnings here right along US 35 just east of Jamestown. That's the Fayette County line, Greene and Fayette County line. We have that warning until 9 o'clock. And this one as well, that one goes until 8:45, so only 8 more minutes with that one. And at that time, the National Weather Service will reassess. They'll either reissue the warning or they will let it expire. And we just got a new image there, so let us once again zoom in. We're not seeing I'm not seeing at least the signature that is showing that the rotation with this particular storm is as well defined as earlier. In fact, it looks like the rotation has widened a little bit, and that's a good sign. The rotation getting a little wider in terms of its width means the threat of getting a specific tornado is actually going down, I believe, with this particular cell here. We're getting that rotation, again, over a fairly broad area here, and it's not real tight rotation. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign that maybe this is starting to weaken a bit here, but still have that threat. That's why we still have the warning in effect for another 7 minutes here now in Greene County. Let's go check the other storm here along the Fayette and Greene County line and take a look at that. Take a look at the wind velocities here. Again, this is, it's marginal, I would say, in terms of the strength of the rotation with these. Marginal, but certainly enough that the Weather Service believes we need to continue with these particular tornado warnings. Both of these, let me put this into motion once again. We'll get an idea of the direction. And this was actually interesting because you can see the evolution of this western Greene County storm. Right when they issued that first warning here, right there, you almost could kind of get a sense of a hook on that. And now they dropped the warning, reissued the warning, but it certainly doesn't have the same look that it did earlier on. And in fact, it's looking much less likely that it's going to be able to be capable of dropping a tornado than it was, say, 10, 15 minutes ago. But this one in eastern Greene County, and both of these are moving just west of north, so north-northwest. That's going to take this one up across northeastern Greene County. That one, to me, looks like it still has a little bit more of a sign of that kind of hook echo-ish look to it here. And this one is showing it much less, I believe. So I would not be surprised if this warning does get allowed to expire at 8:45. And they'll keep that one in the eastern Greene County probably going until probably close to 9 o'clock, if not extend it with that particular cell, because it is showing a little bit more sign of rotation there. So I also mentioned we have to keep a close eye on this one in Champaign County. It is not showing the same signs that the same look that the ones in Greene County are. So that's good news that we haven't seen any warning issued on that one as of yet. Just some light rain elsewhere in Champaign and Clark counties. And a lot of rain still falling to the west of Dayton. Dayton right now is not in the rain, but western Montgomery and Preble County and also southwestern Miami County, some heavy rain, some lightning up in that area as well, and also the western half of Warren County getting some pretty good rain coming down also. So we'll continue to keep an eye on these storms. National Weather Service radar operator is monitoring them very, very carefully, without a doubt, and keep a close eye on the wind fields with them. And that's really all that we do in these situations, is we use the radar, which is a very powerful tool, to look inside of these storms, and the raindrops as they move, we can track their movement with the radar, and we can therefore see how the winds are moving, how the air is moving within the storm. And with both of these cells, what they're seeing is a general rotating circulation here. In fact, look at that. We just got a new warning here. So they have now issued a new warning to the north, and that will take over for the first warning, which will be allowed to expire until at 8:45. And now the new warning here, this will go until 9:15. And this does include all of Fairborn and still includes a good chunk of the Beaver Creek area. In fact, they have drawn this right, the southern edge of this new warning right here is right along US 35. So we're talking about US 35 north up through northwestern Greene County. There's the new warning that goes until 9:15. And so those of you now south of US 35, I think we can safely say that you are now in the clear in terms of not being concerned about a tornado warning anymore. That warning that does include areas south of US 35, that will expire at 8:45. Okay, so we're taking a live look here at 675 and 35. So this is on the western edge of that particular cell where we've got some rain coming down and reduced visibility. The worst of the storm is east of here. And we're looking southeast, so we're looking, so to the left of the screen would be where the stronger part of the cell is. And notice we're not really seeing a lot of wind here. Not really seeing much wind at all. And outside of this particular cell, we're not going to see a whole lot of wind by any means. So that is one thing that we don't have to worry about is any wind damage outside of where we have this tornado warning. And this is right along the edge of the warning here at 675 and 35. So there you go. All right, I want to show you also, this is looking northwest from the Dayton Mall area, Prestige Plaza office building, and we do have some low clouds. And one of the dangers we actually have in a situation with very, very high humidity is the cloud base is so close to the ground. So as soon as the funnel cloud develops in these particular cells, it doesn't take much at all for it to touch down. And that's one of the reasons why we have warnings that for just rotating storms without tornadoes, we get these warnings because as soon as the funnel cloud does develop, it's only a couple hundred feet until it can touch down and start to cause the wind damage. So they're very cautious, the Weather Service is, in these very high humidity situations. This is a day that is reminding me actually of the day, I remember this very clearly because it was Kentucky Derby Saturday several years back, maybe 10 years back, when we had the tornado that touched down right near the Dayton Mall. It was a very similar setup to this where we had the very, very low cloud bases. We had the wind fields that were just right so that it wasn't going to take much to get these storms to rotate. And indeed, that was the case. We had rotation. In fact, I remember that day because the rotation in that particular storm was so low that the radar beam was actually shooting up over the top of it. It was very difficult to determine exactly where that rotation was. Now, thankfully, these cells are in a good position with the Weather Service's radar down in Wilmington to be able to have a good look at them and to be able to pick up the wind fields pretty well with this. But again, it doesn't take much if we do get a spin up for it to touch down by any means. All right, we have a new warning here actually that I'm seeing. There you go. We have a new tornado warning for Warren County now. This includes Waynesville and for Springboro as well. So we've got some fairly populated areas. This one goes until 9:15. And let's take a look at this one. Because the rotation, oh boy, these are hard to pick out, folks. There is a couple of spots here where we could have some rotation along this edge, this eastern edge. And this is the same setup we had with that Preble County warning earlier. It was right along the eastern edge of the rain here. Once you get back into the steady rain, we're not going to get any rotation here, but right along the eastern edge of this, there's a couple areas we could end up getting a couple of spin-ups in here. So those of you on the eastern edge of this need to be getting to your safe place as well, particularly the strongest rotation is probably down south towards the Lebanon area, it looks like to me. But also, yeah, it could be a couple of places here. So basically from Springboro down towards the Lebanon area. Okay, now we actually got a new image here. Yeah, it's definitely, it's just the east of Lebanon is where they're warning on this particular storm here. So US 42, that is Oregonia Road. US 42 is right there. South of Drake Road. So we're talking about the areas along 42, north and east of Lebanon. Here's the bypass around Lebanon right there, and downtown Lebanon is right there, as you can see. So it's up in that area, east of Lebanon, northeast of Lebanon. Again, fairly rural areas here. And this is also going to be drifting towards the north. Let's get a track on this one. Same thing. So there's the rotation there, as you can see, is east of Lebanon, but this is going to be headed right up towards the Springboro area. So those of you who are in Springboro, it's headed right up towards the east side of Springboro. You need to be getting to your safe place right now. Let's zoom in a little bit more here and give you an idea. State Route 122 is right there. There's 122. There's Pekin Road. Just north of there is Lower Springboro Road, so you get an idea of where it's headed towards. That's not where the danger with the storm is right now, but that is where it is headed towards. So any of our viewers in Springboro need to be thinking about getting to their safe place as well. So that warning goes until 9:15 for Warren County. We have warnings here in eastern and western Greene County. The one in eastern Greene County, that goes until 9 o'clock. And the new warning for northwestern Greene County is until 9:15. That includes Fairborn and the north side of Beaver Creek. Fairfield Commons Mall is in this warning. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is in this warning. All of Fairborn is in this warning. Those of you south of US 35 in Greene County, Beaver Creek area, that is, you are in the clear now from this particular warning. And also, those of you south of US 35, probably in the clear now in eastern Greene County, although I wouldn't count it out. Still being in danger here right along US 35 in the Jamestown area. So south of Jamestown, you should be fine. North side of Jamestown, not necessarily so. This cell looks like it's starting to weaken now also. So that would be a good sign if we get that warning dropped. But 3 tornado warnings at once. I cannot tell you the last time that I can recall having 3 tornado warnings in effect at the same time here in the Miami Valley. This is a rare situation. The only saving grace is if we do get any touchdowns, and we haven't had any confirmation, we've had no visual sightings whatsoever, but if we do, they're going to be weak tornadoes. Still able to cause some damage, but if you're in your safe place in a constructed, well-constructed home, you're going to be just fine in this situation. These are not going to be tornadoes. If we even get any touchdowns, they're not going to be tornadoes that are going to have the capability of doing significant damage to homes by any means. I don't believe that is going to be the case. The wind field's just not that strong with these. These are the type of tornadoes we get here in the Miami Valley. Weak ones, brief spin-ups, can do some damage, certainly, but if we take our precautions and get to our safe spots, we're going to get through this just fine. So let's talk about the safe spot again. We want to get to a basement if you can. Lowest level is best. If you don't have a basement, interior room on the first floor of your home. A closet, a bathroom, a room without windows. Broken glass is certainly one of the biggest dangers with strong winds or tornadoes. So get as many layers between you and the outside world as possible. Cover yourself with a blanket. That's another layer. We tell the kids to put on their bike helmets. Adults, same thing. If you have a bike helmet, put it on. It's just another layer of protection for you. Again, stay away from windows. Basement's best. Get underneath something like the stairwell in the basement. Get underneath a workbench. That's the type of place you want to get to. All right, let me see if we have any updates here from the Weather Service on these. The fact that we're not getting any updates is actually a good thing. That means that they're not getting any information from any spotters out there of any visual sightings. So that's good. Now, here's the thing. It's getting dark out there. It's going to be harder to see if we do have a tornado. Also, with the lack of lightning with these cells, you don't get anything visually once it gets dark to see anything. That's going to be a danger as well. We're kind of running just on the radar now, and what the radar is seeing, the spotters don't have the ability to see any funnels if there are any dropping out of these storms. So we're going to have to just trust the radar operator with the Weather Service down in Wilmington to guide us through these with what they're seeing, as the very powerful radars can look inside these storms, see the movement of the raindrops. That's how they know how the wind is moving inside of these storms, and that's how we're seeing that we do have some rotation within these 3 particular cells, 1, 2, and 3. Let's zoom back down into Warren County. Take another look at that one. Last time we saw indications that the rotation was just to the northeast of Lebanon. Looks like it still is in this particular area here. What we're seeing here is this air is moving that way, and this air is moving that way, with the radar looking at it from this direction here. So that's what we're seeing. So we have a rotation right in this area here. US 42 just east of there especially. North of Lebanon up towards the Waynesville area, not in Waynesville yet, southwest of Cedar Creek Lake. As we take a look just to the north of there, up in towards the Springboro area, we're not seeing the same type of things. We're seeing some weak rotation, perhaps, along the Warren and southeastern Montgomery County line. Those of you in Springboro need to be thinking about your safe place. Those of you watching us in Centerville, this could eventually drift northward into Montgomery County as well. You should be thinking about where your safe place is in Centerville and even Miami Township, Miamisburg. Start to think about that now. Let's take a close look at this one here in northwest Greene County again. And still some weak rotation with this one here, although not as strong. We're seeing this is air heading away from the radar site. This is air heading towards the radar site. We've just gotten an update on that warning, as you can see. So they have cut back on the warning a bit. So those of you in the areas between US 35 and these areas, this is all, you know, very, very densely populated areas, but I seem to be only getting north-south roads here. Let's see if I can get one east-west. Morning view. You're now out of this warning. Those of you 675 area, Wright State in the warning. Hopefully the students at Wright State are getting the information they need to get to a safe place. Fairborn, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, all within this warning here as this slowly drifts north-northwest and could eventually perhaps work its way up towards I-70 in southwestern Clark County as well. We'll keep an eye on that. Let me zoom out a little bit more here for you and take you back down into eastern Greene County, where this cell is really looking like it's weakening considerably here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this warning here for eastern Greene County does expire, is allowed to expire coming up at 9 o'clock. So that, yeah, that's looking far less. In fact, what they would have done, the Weather Service would have issued a new warning north of there already, I believe, if they thought that there was still a threat with that storm. So I fully expect that that one will be allowed to expire there. So again, we have this area here northeast of Lebanon with rotation. Let's give you a closer look here. Give you some of the roads: Tumbleweed, Fiesta, Liberty, Cuter, something like that. Donwell Court, Hatfield Road, Long Lane, Drake Road off of US 42. Again, the northern edge of the bypass in Lebanon is this road right here, to kind of give you an idea. And then as we head north of there, Old 122, we're now headed up towards the Waynesville area, but it's going to be west of there that's going to be at risk. Pekin Road, I know that's a road that a lot of folks know in that area. North of there, up towards Lower Springboro Road, that's the area that this particular cell is headed right now, and will continue to slowly move towards the north-northwest. Back up into western Greene County. We've got that warning. Fairfield Commons Mall, Wright State, and northern areas in Beaver Creek and Fairborn all being impacted by that one as well. And as we zoom out and show you the big picture, again, those 3 tornado warnings with some steadier rain. We have a flood advisory for western Montgomery County that is in effect here. And there could end up being some issues with some high water in spots in western Montgomery County, Preble County, as we already have the flash flood warnings for Butler County. We've seen there's been some significant flooding down in the western Cincinnati area as well. Flood advisories also in effect for Mercer and Darke County from some pretty steady, if not heavy rain that has fallen earlier in the evening in those areas. So again, the 3 tornado warnings continue. The one in eastern Greene County goes until 9 o'clock, northwestern Greene County until 9:15, and also the one in Warren County continues until actually they just dropped that. And also the one in eastern Greene County is expired. So they have canceled the Warren County warning. They have just let the eastern Greene County warning go. So really the only warning we have in effect now is this one in northwestern Greene County. And also that's the one that's certainly the most populated area that we do have. So that continues until 9:15 for areas northern Beaver Creek and Fairborn, including Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and Wright State University as well. Let's get a look at the velocity on this again. Same thing. We're seeing just just broad circulation here. I would put the circulation, though, right over the Fairfield Commons Mall at this area. So hopefully the folks at the mall have gotten the word out and people are getting to the tornado shelter that we do have in the mall. And if you're ever in a place like a mall or, a large store like a Walmart, a Target, or a Meijer, all of those buildings are going to have a designated shelter area. And if you're visiting those buildings and you're in a situation like this, just ask a manager where it is. There'll be a sign on the wall and it'll have a tornado picture on it. They all have one. So find out where those are. We talk about finding your safe spot in your home, but you really need to know where your safe spot is wherever you go. We know where it is here at work. We know where it is at schools because they practice their plan all the time. But if you're out and about and going to be somewhere for a few hours and there is a situation where we get into a tornado watch, find the safe spot there as well. And we will continue to give you the information so that you'll know when to get in your safe spot. And this certainly is the case for those of you in northwestern Greene County right now. All right.
Jamie, we just wanted to jump in really quick. We just got word from Greene County Dispatch that no reports of damage in Greene County, so that is good news. So again, we just got off the phone with the folks there, and what we're seeing with this tornado there, that warning goes till about 9:15, as Jamie said. But again, no reports of damage, so that's very good news.
That is very good news, Jamie. These things have been popping up very quickly, as you mentioned, very unusual with having that many at one point here tonight.
Yeah, I can't remember when I've had 3 at one time. And, I've been working in this area since 1999, and I'm not sure I've ever had 3 warnings at the same time. So this is kind of an unprecedented thing in terms of my coverage here in the Dayton area. But the good news is we have not had any sightings. We have not had any damage reports from any of these. And all of the data that I'm seeing in terms of the wind fields of these are telling me that there are broad circulations, wide rotations. This whole cell right here is rotating like this, but at no point in time have we been able to get the rotation to tighten up enough to drop a funnel cloud down. And the danger now, as we head towards 9 o'clock here, is it's dark. It's getting dark, so we're not going to be able to see visually what's going on out there anymore. There you go. You can see there's very little light out there still, and that's the problem. Is anybody that is watching these storms, and they're also putting down a decent amount of rain. So the rain's going to obscure some vision as well. So now, as I mentioned a little earlier, we're just basically going off of radar indications, and that's what we've had so far. It's just radar indications of rotation, but we're going to have to rely on the radar solely now, as we don't have any visuals on these storms, as it is going to continue to get darker and darker and darker. But hopefully we will not have any touchdowns, and hopefully we will not have any damage with these particular cells, and hopefully we'll get this warning to expire at 9:15, and hopefully that'll be the end of it for the night. But we're going to have to watch the possibility of some heavy rain causing some problems as well.
And we thank you. You are watching continuous coverage of tornado warnings popping up in the Miami Valley. At one point, we had 3 happening at one time. That is now down to 1. But again, these are popping up very quickly.
That's right. And the good news is right now, the one that is still active in Greene County, no reports of damage. So that is very encouraging. We do plan to get back to your regular programming as soon as this warning expires, hopefully at the very latest by 9:15. One of those warnings was in Springboro, where both you and I live. And just moments ago, I think we both called our families and we said, get down into your safe spot, get into the basement, get into the bathroom, and protect yourselves. I mean, this is nerve-wracking for me, being from Ohio, living in Ohio for the first time and having to deal with these tornadoes. But you got to do what you got to do. But as you said, 3 warnings in such a short period of time. As Jamie said, he's never heard of anything like this since he's been here since 1999. So very, very unusual. But once again, we do plan to get back to regular programming. But let's go to Jamie Simpson right now for the very latest on this still current tornado warning. Jamie.
Yeah, this continues until 9:15, and hopefully at 9:15 they'll let it expire. Hopefully they'll cancel it before that. Probably not, though. I think they're going to be a bit more cautious than the Weather Service is with this cell, simply because this is a very, very populated area. They were talking about on the north side of Beaver Creek, Fairborn. There's the base right there. Fairfield Commons Mall is right there. The circulation is right over Wright State. The center of the circulation right now is over Wright State University, and will continue to drift slowly up right across the center of Fairborn. It's been been a movement towards the north-northwest with this one. The warning, there's 35 right there. So the warning is north of 35. And again, this is all radar indicated circulation in this storm telling us that it could be capable of producing a funnel cloud or a tornado, but we haven't had any indications with any of the tornado warned storms so far today that has been the case. Now, the earlier storms west of Dayton, we had visuals of a wall cloud, which is just showing us the broad circulation, which actually is pretty wide here. And that's just, a general circulation like this. And if that circulation can tighten up, that's when you can start to get the possibility of a funnel cloud dropping. But that hasn't been the case with any of these storms as of yet. Adam, Deb, you guys did exactly what you should have done in that situation. Get on the phone, alert the family, and we encourage everybody else to do so. If you know people that live in these areas, it's possible they're not watching TV. It's possible they haven't gotten the warning. Get on the cell phone and give them a call and let them know. We certainly want everybody to communicate the potential dangers with these storms, and that's exactly why we're on TV right now, staying with this storm, because we want to communicate the potential dangers of this storm. This is the only warning we have as of right now. And the potential is for a weak tornado to spin up, but there's no guarantees that will happen. Hopefully that will not be the case by any means. But again, we need to communicate the potentials with this particular storm. So this warning continues until 9:15, as we mentioned. National Weather Service is continuing it. We just got a new statement from them in the last minute. They're going to continue this warning until 9:15 for a radar indicated rotation within the storm. Actually, they just cut back on the warning yet again. They keep whittling back on the south side of this to let you know that if you're south of this line right here, you're now in the clear. Now, the Fairfield Commons Mall is right here. Wright State is right here. So we're talking, actually, Wright State, I'm sorry, is right there. So we're talking about the areas here, Wright State northward towards Fairborn, just east of 675. Also in this warning, back towards the Montgomery County line here, not in this warning anymore. So Riverside, you're fine. If you are west of the Air Force Museum, you're fine as well. And those are the areas that we're talking about where we do have this warning. So again, the circulation right here, continuing ahead right up towards the center of Fairborn in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And hopefully after that, this warning will be allowed to expire. Let me just zoom out here, give you an idea of what else is going on in the area, because we have that one warning. Some heavy rain does continue in areas. Southwestern Miami County, we have some heavy rain. The western side of Dayton, some heavier rain in spots, including Trotwood down to Miamisburg, the 675-75 interchange. Some heavier rain down towards Springboro, Centerville, Miami Township as well. And then some heavier rain just on the northeast side of Lebanon. Now, this is an area where we did have a warning earlier. If you're just joining us here on the north side of Lebanon, that warning was allowed to expire. That was a warning that expanded northward and did include the Springboro area, but no threat as of right now with that particular storm. And also we had this cell that was warned here in northeastern Greene County, but that has been allowed to expire. So the only warning that we do have right now is again for northwestern Greene County, and this does continue for about another 10 minutes or so. I'll put this into motion for you again over the last hour or so, and you can see the history of this cell as it does continue to move northeastward. And you can see also how the warnings have been kind of shrunk down to more pinpoint the areas that are at risk here, just now down to that one warning that does include areas basically north of I-675 here in northwestern Greene County. So again, there's the movement towards the north-northwest. So those of you watching us from southwestern Clark County and southeasternmost Miami County, stay with us here just in case this does continue northeastward or north-northwestward and they issue a new warning. It's not impossible that will be the case, but good sign with the other cells in terms of the warnings being canceled early, that we're getting to the point now where hopefully these storms are going to be less and less capable of having the rotations that would possibly develop into a tornado or a funnel cloud. That should be the trend as we head through the evening and we start to cool things down a little bit. That should be the case as these storms will become less and less capable of doing that very thing. All right, so zoom back in again for you and give you some ideas with the streets here. There's the base, there's the center of Fairborn. Rotation here looks to be right about the center of it, at least, is Dayton Yellow Springs Road at 675. So we're talking Fairborn High School is right here. The mall is back to the southwest of there as well. Wright State University is in this area here. Wright State's there. There's the mall right there. So you are both at Wright State and the mall now, no longer in this warning. So, but areas where we're talking about, primarily it's Fairborn that's in this warning now. The Nutter Center is again just outside of this warning as well, just to give you an idea. But certainly downtown Fairborn is still within this warning, as is the base. So we still have a lot of people here that are being impacted by this warning, primarily the city of Fairborn. But areas just east of 675, a little more rural, but you're also technically, and there's the new warning. We just got this new warning. I mentioned this a minute ago. We're going to continue with this now because we do have a new warning continuing it northward for portions of southwest Clark County, southeastern Miami County, far northeastern Montgomery County as well. This new warning goes until 9:30. So another 23 minutes at least, probably, with this particular cell. All right, so let's take a look at the velocities one more time. Again, this is a really weak rotation, but they're seeing enough of it that they are going to expand this warning northward here for southwestern Clark County and southeastern Miami County and also far northwestern Montgomery County. So let's zoom in a little bit more, give you an idea of where we're talking about. Those of you in Park Lane are in this warning, up towards New Carlisle, right on the northern edge of this. Donaldsville, you're east of this warning. The eastern part of Huber Heights is in this warning as well. State Route 235 and I-70 interchange in this warning. This is Bell Fountain Road, Singer Road, Main Street, US 40, National Road also in this warning. The northern edge of Fairborn in this new warning as well. Just a little bit of northeastern Montgomery County. But those of you in Huber Heights to the east of Brant Pike areas need to be getting to your safe spot as of right now. All right, we have some pictures. Okay, yes, let's take a look at these. And let me take a look at this here. That's Fairborn. Yeah, that is a wall cloud right there. That is the wall cloud. You can see it. Can we key me over this? Is that possible? Okay. Deb, you do something?
Oh, I just wanted to say something that we're just getting word right now that 3,000 people are inside the Nutter Center for a senior high school graduation. And apparently they are sounding the sirens inside the Nutter Center as well. So something to be very, concerned about.
That's a situation where I was talking about where get on the cell phone if you know somebody is somewhere like that, because they're not going to know about the warning until the siren goes off. And then they have to, you don't want to get a panic situation, certainly with a crowd of that size. Now, the Nutter Center is no longer in the warning. The danger area is now north of the Nutter Center, so they're just fine now. But we're going to continue to have the possibility of images like this. All right, so this is the wall cloud right here. See how we've got this base? That's the cloud. We've got this base that is lowered a bit right there, and that's the area of the storm that's actually rotating. And we've seen a couple of photos like this with a wall cloud, just a lowered base, but at no point have we ever seen, or in any photos at least, have we ever seen any funnels that have been dropping out of the bottom of those. So that's good news. This is, let's see, that's in Carlisle. That is, looks to me just like a very low cloud. I can't tell if that's a wall cloud or not from this static image here, but that's in Carlisle, so that was earlier on. Spring Valley, looking towards Spring Valley from Ledbetter Road and Xenia. So that was where we initially had the warning, was down towards the Spring Valley area. That's the same warning, the same cell that we have now up towards Fairborn. It's gone north through Greene County, but again, you can kind of get an idea right there of a lowered cloud base with that one as well. So this is what people have been seeing, and we appreciate the photos. It helps us understand exactly what's going on with these situations as we go through these types of warnings. When we can get some visuals, it really helps us out understanding what these storms are doing and what they're capable of. And we've seen wall clouds. We've seen photos of wall clouds that have been coming in over the last couple of hours. Yes. Yes.
Tweet coming in from the Weather Service in Wilmington saying, highly likely a tornado on the ground between Fairborn and Park Lane.
Okay.
Take cover now. That is from the NWS Wilmington, Ohio. They just tweeted that literally moments ago.
All right, so there we go. So we now have what may be verification. So this is a whole new ball game here. And if you are not in your safe place now, get there immediately if you are Fairborn north towards Park Lane. Now, unfortunately, one of the problems we have with radar now is that the radar beam coming from Wilmington has to look through this rain and is not going to be able to see the wind fields quite as well as earlier on. Okay, let's take a look at this one here. This is in Dayton. There's the wall cloud right there. In fact, that is not a tornado necessarily, but you can see how there's the cloud base, and then you get this other lowered base within the center of that storm, and that thing is likely rotating as well. So that's what we're looking at. I can't tell you if that's a tornado on the ground or not from this particular photo, but I also like to know what direction we're looking in here. It says from Dayton. I'm assuming we're looking northeast towards that cell, although it's awfully light out still, so this may have actually been an earlier cell. Not sure exactly when time that was. All right, so again, we may have indication from the Weather Service a tornado could be on the ground here now, which is, they have not used any language like that by any means up until this point in time. And, and hopefully we've got some law enforcement in that area with some eyes on this as well, because that's really what we need to do right now. We also have observers at the base that are going to be keeping a close eye on this as well. They're very close to where this is, so that may be a way that we can get verification as well. Spotters hopefully are out there, but the problem is it's dark now, and that's going to make it difficult for us to see this. Sometimes at night we get glimpses of tornadoes when the lightning flashes, but you can see we don't have any lightning with this cell either. Okay, we got more photos. Just keep them coming then. Okay, that's just some low clouds, it looks like to me. This one's interesting, actually. It's hard to tell exactly what that is in the center there, but do we have any other information on where that photo was from by chance? If anybody knows? We don't. Okay. Well, that would help a little bit. Again, it's hard to tell just from photos. Videos certainly make it a lot easier to tell exactly what you're looking at because you can see the motion in the clouds. Sometimes with these high humidity situations like this, sometimes what can look like a tornado can actually just be scud clouds, low-hanging clouds that are not rotating at all. That's very common in these situations. But we have definitely seen photos of wall clouds through the afternoon and early evening without a doubt. So again, the warnings here. This southern warning is set to expire here in 1 minute at 9:15. This warning continues until 9:30. We have heard from the Weather Service there's a good possibility of a tornado on the ground somewhere between Fairborn and Park Lane. Unfortunately, the radar beam is from the south here, so it's got to look through all this rain to see where the rotation is within this cell. Probably, I would say probably up in the Fairborn area right now from the looks of this. Now, I just saw the warning change slightly. It looked like they cut back on the southern part of this warning, and now that southern warning has expired. So now Greene County is not in a warning anymore. It is now just southwestern Clark, southeastern Miami, and far northeastern Montgomery County. Greene County not in the warning anymore. Tornado sirens going off in Tip City, I'm told. And also Springboro. And Springboro.
Yeah. Do you see anything back down in that area? Or up in Tip?
Hold on. No, there's no warning for the Springboro area right now. Okay, we do have officially that a tornado has been observed with this particular cell. South of Park Lane, it would appear. Let me just zoom out to just verify. I'm seeing no indication of any other warnings. No, we have no other warnings. So Springboro, if the sirens are going off, I don't know why. They shouldn't be. There is no warning for that area right now in Springboro. So there's your warning. And again, we don't know exactly.
Do we have traffic cameras?
The location, not up in that. Yeah, we do actually. 675 and 70, we do. Let's take a look at that.
675.
Actually. Yeah. Let me pull that up here. See if we can get that up. Yeah, let me get the see if I can find the 70 and 675. There it is.
Go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
that may be the wall cloud right there, as a matter of fact. We're looking west. That would make sense. Yeah, we may be actually seeing this. Just enough light here.
Wow.
There's the wall cloud right there. And you could almost perhaps suggest that there is a funnel. So we may be taking a look at it. Again, we're looking west on 70 here. That's the ramp that goes from west 70, loops around to south 675, which is right here. So we're looking northwest of this interchange. And yeah, that's definitely the wall cloud without a doubt. But we may be seeing the tornado as well. So we're looking at, it's right over the Park Lane area, I would say, judging from what I'm seeing on radar and what we're seeing in this camera. So this is right over the Park Lane area. There's some lightning. Well, we don't know if that's lightning. That actually may be a tornado hitting a transformer right there. That is a possibility that we have a tornado right here. It sure looks like a funnel.
On that?
Oh, wow.
Sure looks like a wedge.
670.
I would say it just hit some power lines or a transformer. That was not lightning. That was hitting something electrical, which is a problem now because some folks up in that area do not have power and they're not able to get the information. So this is why we encourage having cell phones that work. Weather radios are always a great backup as well. Yeah, we're seeing a tornado on the ground here without a doubt. So this is right over the Park Lane area. Again, there's another transformer, some power lines being hit. Notice you're not seeing bolts here. You're seeing the electricity flash upwards. So we're seeing actually things being hit on the ground. So we have a verified visual here of a tornado on the ground hitting power lines. If you're in Park Lane, you need to be in the basement right now. You need to be in a safe spot. Let's flip back over to the radar real quick here, just for a moment here, if we can. So I want to show you where this is, right here. This is probably the circulation right here, right smack dab over Park Lane. And that is why we're seeing all those flashes, because we're now in a populated area. Tornado on the ground in Park Lane. Folks, get to your safe spot right now. Just do it. Just get there, get safe, get as low as you can, get to the basement, get to an interior room, stay away from windows, turn off the TV. We'll get you through this. Yeah, we're seeing that. So the wall cloud is here. It extends from here over to here. And there's the funnel right there. You can just barely make it out. We have just enough light. Thankfully, we have enough light that we can see where this is. And I believe from what I'm seeing on the radar that that is right over Park Lane right now. Slowly, slowly moving north-northwest. So let me give you some roads here as to where this is headed now. All right, so we're looking at Dilley Road, US 40, Scarf Road, all of these areas. And those of you in New Carlisle, downtown New Carlisle, this is probably going to head up right over the west side of New Carlisle as well. Yep.
This was sent to us by the National Weather Service.
No, I know Bryan. Bryan is a meteorologist, so he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. And there you go. Yeah, Bryan is a very, very credible meteorologist here in our area. And thank you, Bryan, because we're seeing it on our ODOT cam as well. So there you can see it right there. It's getting dark too. It's going to get harder and harder to see this over the next 5 to 10 minutes. But yeah, so we've got a tornado on the ground. So we need to, this is a very serious situation now that we're looking at. All right, what just happened to the radar? All right, give me a second here. Something just happened with my radar data. And I'm not really sure what's happened here. 3. All right, we're having problems with our radar data, unfortunately.
Yeah, so definitely if you're in the Fairborn area near Park Lane, as Jamie was saying, definitely take cover, get into the basement. If you can grab the kids' bike helmets, do so. The best place is the bathroom, away from any windows. So hunker down there, try to put some blankets around you, pillows, anything you can. This is definitely a much different situation than we saw earlier in the night, where we just saw some, as Jamie mentioned, some of these warnings. They didn't seem like they were kind of soft warnings in the sense that they didn't appear to be, tornadoes in the full essence of it. But this one does look much more serious, and it could cause potential damage and destruction. So, Jamie, what are you seeing now?
Yeah, well, you know what I'm not seeing is, we're not seeing the flashes, although this is very interesting. I wonder if something is on fire here. The tornado, it's so hard to see now. It's past north, I believe, Park Lane. Now that was something else. And we know the tornado is here. So I'm not sure what that was, but you know, we get transformers and power lines being hit. I don't know, there may be a chain reaction with all of this, but again, it's getting very difficult to see the tornado here. Park Lane headed northwards, and something has just happened with the National Weather Service radar data. Unfortunately, I can't show you where the storm is right now because we're getting some very interesting feed. Here's what I can show you is on the regional radar that we do have. Show you where the storm is. So let's go back over to the radar real quick here, and we can kind of get a sense of where it is.
Is it recent? Okay, we have some recent.
Yes.
We have some recent video, Jamie, coming out of Fairborn. This was taken, very recently.
Listen to that, the sirens.
Okay.
This again out of Fairborn. You can hear those sirens going off. So Fairborn seems to be really the epicenter of where the highly likely, as the National Weather Service said, tornado touched down here.
Yeah, the first word we got was between Fairborn and Park Lane, so we don't know if it's actually in the city of Fairborn or not.
We also don't know about damage yet. We're still waiting to get reports on damage. We do have crews headed that direction. We are working the phones with first responders to see if there is in fact any damage out there. In fact, now that I think about it, let me check power here. See.
I'm pretty certain we'll have some damage based on what we saw from that ODOT camera.
But even though, Jamie, we were getting reports of sirens in Springboro and in Tip City, you're saying you're not seeing anything on the radar as far as any tornado warnings from your end?
Well, what I'm saying is we're having some very, very odd radar data that's coming in right now. Something has happened with the feed from the National Weather Service radar, but I can tell you this. Let me turn the radar off real quick here and show you the new warning we do have. So there's a brand new warning to the northwest, and they're going to continue this warning since we have verification visual on the ground. This goes until 9:45 now for areas in Miami County, including Troy, including Tip City, and areas east of there. The southeastern corner of Miami County is where we're getting this warning, and we did have the verification between Fairborn and Park Lane. We saw, I'm almost certain, we saw the tornado on the ground from the ODOT camera that was right here at 675 and 70 looking northwest, and I believe where we saw those flashes was power lines and transformers and that type of thing being hit by the tornado in Park Lane, and now it's drifting probably north of Park Lane along the Miami and Clark County line.
And Jamie, I just saw this from the National Weather Service. They just sent this out. Tornado warning, including Tip City and Casstown, Ohio. Again, like you said, until 9:45. And also new circulation with radar confirmed tornado between Fountain and New Carlisle.
Okay.
And that's it. And they're saying take cover immediately if you are in the path of the storm.
All right. And we also have just gotten I'm seeing here that the tornado was observed by the weather observers at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base when it did come through. That was back at, let's see here. I can't see the time right now. Okay, so this is interesting as well, because I just got also, okay, so the tornado warning for, let me make sure I get this straight here, for Clark, Miami, and Montgomery County has just been canceled. So this southern warning here has been canceled. The new warning is basically the Miami-Clark County line, the Miami-Montgomery County line, and areas northwestward up through Tip City and Troy. That's the new warning that goes until 9:45. So those of you who are in Montgomery County, no longer in a warning. No longer. South of Park Lane, no longer in the warning anymore.
So Jamie, can you tell, is this tornado gaining strength? Is it weakening? Is it staying the same? What are you seeing?
It's staying the same as of right now is what I'm seeing. We've got the radar data back, thankfully, from the Weather Service here. So let me see if I can get an idea. Yeah, there's the circulation. You can see it there. So I would say that where we're looking at right now, in fact, this is showing up pretty well. In fact, the broad circulation is going to be right here, okay? And the tornado, if it is still on the ground, and we don't know that as of right now, it may have lifted, it may have not. We have to assume it is still on the ground. It's going to be right in this area here. So we're talking Agenbrode Road, Dayton Brant Road, west of South Palmer Road. That's State Highway 201. To give you some idea of exactly where that is. New Carlisle, downtown right here, is east of this cell. So I'm not concerned about downtown New Carlisle being hit by the tornado. It's going to be continuing to drift this direction here up through western Miami, or southeastern Miami County, I should say. As it does do so, it will pass east of Tip City, it does appear. Let me zoom out a little bit here so you can get a bit better of a bearing as to where we're talking about.
Jamie, I just got a Facebook viewer saying Piqua tornado sirens going off right now in Piqua.
That's because Miami County is in the warning. Now, Piqua is not technically in the warning.
Okay, so it's more of just an extra precaution, abundance of caution right there.
Yeah, sometimes municipalities will sound the sirens if there's a warning in their county.
Okay.
And that is the case. You can see there's Piqua, not in the warning. The warning is south of you. Troy is in the warning, Casstown's in the warning, Tip City's in the warning, and the tornado is most likely in this area down here, just to the southwest of New Carlisle, headed towards the north-northwest. Just got a new radar image there as well. So let's take a look at the velocities again. Okay, so this is a little bit perhaps more pronounced. We're seeing a little bit perhaps stronger rotation now, and that's going to put it right, I'll put it right in the dead center of your screen here, and you get the idea. State highways passing over State Highway 201, Pisgah Road, headed up towards you in the Ruby Road area. Let's see here. This is State Highway. So 571 and 201, that intersection is just about the location that I would put the tornado if it is still on the ground. And again, we don't know if it is or not. We had confirmation earlier down in southwestern Clark County. Now we're looking at the rotation in southeastern Miami County. We are looking at areas east of Tip City. This tornado should continue, or at least the circulation that could be producing a tornado should head in that direction. So I believe it will stay to the east of Tip City, and then probably also should stay just to the east of Troy, but it could be close. Casstown, certainly you're in the path of this. It's going to be headed for you. Maybe right over Casstown coming up here shortly in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Again, we'll give you some other roads. Gerhardt Road, Benham Road, Widener Road, Walnut Grove Road, State Highway 41 east of Troy eventually, Hickory Hollow Road, up towards Casstown. That's the track of this storm.
Jamie, any idea on the width or the depth of this tornado, like how many blocks, how many miles it could be across? I
don't think it's very wide based on the ODOT camera that we saw, probably on the scale of maybe 100 yards. Based on, that's just my estimate from what we saw. But you know, it's certainly going to be enough to do some damage if you are in the path of it. It's not a setup for a really wide tornado by any means.
And what about wind speed?
Okay, here's the Nutter Center. And we got folks look like filing out. These people are in the clear now. There's no danger anymore in this area. So that's good news. And you know, I'm sure if something had happened there, we would have heard about it, given all the people that are there. So that's good that they are safe and had no issues in the Nutter Center.
Yeah, that was a high school
tonight.
graduation.
Yes.
We were told about 3,000 people. So looks like they're filing out safely. So that's good news.
Okay, we do have a new, just real quick, a new flood advisory that has been issued, basically for the areas in Greene County where that storm did roll on through. So watch out for some ponding of water on roadways. Fairborn, we saw a wet parking lot there at the Nutter Center down through Xenia and Beaver Creek as well. All right, so the warning still continues until 9:45 here. And let's zoom back in a bit. We want to keep you updated as to exactly where this could be. And we haven't had any other indication from the Weather Service that there is still a tornado on the ground. We just don't know at this point. But the center of circulation is pretty much right in the center of that circle that I have there in the screen there. This is a fairly rural area right here along 571, just west of 201 and 571 interchange. Again, this is east of Tip City. And I believe those of you in Tip City are going to be just fine if you're in the center of Tip City. This is going to pass by to your west, or to your east, I should say. And I don't see any danger in the Tip City area Yeah, and this is what we were looking at earlier here. This is the ODOT camera. That's 70 westbound, 675 southbound right there, and you can see it. And we saw some flashes, which is likely the tornado. And I believe this is probably when it was passing right over Park Lane. Tornado hitting some power lines, things like that. And we saw the flashes kind of go up. If it was lightning, we would have seen the flashes coming down with the bolts of lightning. And there isn't any lightning with the storm either. It's not even a thunderstorm. It's just a rotating cell here. And the tornado, yeah, definitely, you can see it right there as it was on the ground. And there's another flash. This is the wall cloud right here. We've been seeing photos of the wall cloud, and from that wall cloud, you'll get a funnel that descends, and that's exactly what did happen at this point in time once it was north of I-70. The tornado was on the ground south of I-70. The first indication we got was between Fairborn and Park Lane. So we don't know if it actually passed across the highway or not, or if it dropped after it was north of I-70. But Park Lane looks like, I would guess, may have gotten a direct hit from this as it did come on through. Does anybody in the newsroom made any phone calls up towards Park Lane?
Yeah, we have a crew actually on the way to Park Lane right now. Nathan Edwards is on his way down there. They're trying to find the areas of damage, but like you said, with it getting darker out, it's becoming a little bit more difficult. But Jamie, if you could real quick, we want to let people know we are live streaming this on Facebook. So if you don't have access to a television or you're having trouble getting our signal, we are on Facebook Live right now. Jamie, if you could go over real quick, just recap the different warnings that are in effect as we speak. Yeah, we have the tornado warning that's in effect until 9:45 for Miami County. Tip City, it looks like they've reconfigured this just a bit here. Tip City, downtown Tip City is not in the warning. Downtown Troy is. Casstown is in the warning. New Carlisle is now east of this warning. Nobody in Clark County anymore is underneath this warning. And where we're seeing the rotation with this particular cell is just west of New Carlisle, as a matter of fact. Let me zoom in here. And this has been one of those storm systems, Jamie, that have just been popping. They've just been popping up in really all different corners of the Miami Valley here. So we're looking at areas I believe the rotation center is now just north of 571. Let me put that down for you. There's 571 right there. At 201, just to the northwest of 571 and 201. So I would put the circulation center probably around New Carlisle Road right there. And that is right now, as we speak, the only most likely tornado that is touchdown. Yes. And that is near that Park Lane, Fairborn area. Yeah. Okay. And we don't know if it's still on the ground or not. But we have confirmation from a couple of people. Weather observers at Wright-Patterson saw a tornado and reported a tornado. The Weather Service passed along to us that someone else had observed a tornado between Fairborn and Park Lane. And there's that photo again that we were talking about from Bryan. Right, right. And we don't know exactly where this is, but you can clearly tell that there is a funnel here that has dropped out of the wall cloud and is touching down right there. So there you go. There's the tornado. We've had a couple of visuals. We've had this video. Oh, yeah. When it did go through, I believe the Park Lane area is probably getting hit at this time, which, as you can see, was back at 9:17. So we're talking about a good 17, 18 minutes ago when that did happen, and now it's up in Miami County. Jamie, do you know how fast the storm is moving? It's moving at a pretty good clip. It's actually not as fast as some tornadic storms. Let me zoom out and put this. This is a loop over the last hour or so. In fact, it is exactly an hour. And you can see that it moved from the Beaver Creek area up to east of Tip City over that time frame. So we're talking here only about 20 miles over the last hour or so. So it's really not that fast of a moving cell. And also you can get an idea of the sense of how these warnings played out over time and the northwesterly movement. It actually looks like it may be starting to get pulled west a little bit more now as it starts to get drawn into the main area of rain here. And not only do we have a rotation within this cell, but we've got a big area of low pressure sitting right over the top of us. And that's contributing to this as well. And you can see that for some reason the bad data we were getting from the Weather Service radar right there that thankfully was only short-lived. But now it does appear that this cell is going to start to get pulled westward, and that may put Troy even more into play here as we head through the next half hour or so, 15 minutes really, as it does head up into that area. So.
Hey, Jamie, just got the National Weather Service. They just tweeted this out, receiving reports of damage most likely caused by tornado touchdown in southeast Miami County. Southeast Miami County.
So let me stop this loop here and zoom in again a bit. So, so that means that the tornado was likely still on the ground after moving through the Park Lane area. So areas just northwest of Park Lane, probably in this area here is where we're talking about. And now the cell is northwest of there, with the center of rotation probably right in the center of your screen here. But we don't know if it's still on the ground or not at this very moment. We should probably should act like it is, since we don't have confirmation that it's not. So we'll treat this as still a potentially a tornado on the ground as it does continue to move up through southeastern Miami County. Again, some roads here for you. There's 571. There's
Jamie,
201.
We got a couple comments on Facebook. Do you mind if I throw them your way real quick?
Go ahead.
So we have people wondering if it's heading towards, let's see, how close to New Lebanon is this?
New Lebanon should be okay, I believe. Yeah, those of you east of Tip City and Troy and Casstown, that's the areas where you need to be concerned right now.
What about Pleasant Hill?
Pleasant Hill.
Trav says it's crazy in Pleasant Hill right now. Is it heading this way? So he must be in that line of...
Yeah, I think it's going to stay east of you in Pleasant Hill.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think it should. So we do have some lightning and some heavier rain west of Troy, but that's not associated with the tornado warned storm that we do have right now, which that warning continues another 8 minutes. And then the Weather Service will reassess, and they may extend it or perhaps not, based on what they're seeing on the radar. And the velocity data, you can take a look at that again, is still showing that rotation there. In fact, we just got an update.
Okay, it sounds like...
Yeah, so it's east of Tip City.
Okay, we have a viewer on the phone right now who actually witnessed the tornado, Adrian Dickey. Adrian, can you hear me?
I can.
Hi, Adrian. Thank you so much for joining us. Where are you calling from?
I live in Park Lane on Steyer Drive. It's just east of 235.
Wow, you were right there, kind of in the epicenter of where this tornado hit. What are you seeing? What damage did you see outside your home?
Well, I work third shift, and I heard the wind, and then I came out here, and I could see it to the west of me going up on 35. It was small. It didn't look like anything huge, but it was definitely recognizable as like a tornado.
Yeah. Did you see the funnel cloud?
I did. Yes. I saw it, and it was heading north. Yes.
Did you see any flashes? Like we caught the tornado on the ODOT camera at 70 and 675, looking where I believe was directly towards Park Lane. We saw some flashes. Did you see anything like that?
Yes, I honestly thought it was like transformers.
Yes.
I wasn't sure. I had no idea. I'm like I said, I work third shift, and we got the warning, and then I heard all the wind, and that's when I decided to come out and check it out, and I saw it heading north.
And what did you do, Adrian? Did you stay inside? You didn't get in your car and start driving anywhere?
No, actually, my first thought was I ran right towards the bathroom.
Good. That was smart.
That's the smart way to do it.
Very smart. No windows, hopefully. Yeah, so what did you do? Were you working with anybody else? Did they all go to the bathroom with you?
Yeah, I was here with my fiance, and I think it had already passed at that point, obviously, but he went out there and he had to take a look, and I told him where I saw it, and then it was gone at that point. But it was still very windy. There was no rain, but
okay. Well, we're certainly glad you're okay. And so you, from your perspective, you did not witness any damage. Is that correct?
No, I didn't see anything like visually, but I heard the wind, and I saw it as it was going north, but I didn't see anything.
What did the wind sound like?
Goodness, it sounded like
it
sounded just like a really like strong thunderstorm. But it was like I don't know, it was different. It was like the swirling. I could hear it. It was insane.
Were you scared? Were you nervous?
I wasn't necessarily scared. I was more just like kind of intrigued by the fact that a tornado just passed our house, you know?
Yeah. Well, we're certainly glad you're safe. Thank you so much for calling.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a good night and be safe out there.
Thanks, you as well.
All right, we have a new warning now. They've extended the warning northwestward, and this does include downtown Troy and Casstown as well in the new warning, also including the stretch of 75 that is just to the south of Piqua, which is just underneath the banner here. And this new warning goes until 10:15. So we continue on with this as the cell, and the circulation is somewhere in here northeast of Tip City now, heading, it looks like a little bit more northwesterly path. And you can see the old warning and now the new warning kind of is indicating that this is going to take a little bit more of a westerly path here. So Troy, need to be thinking about getting to your safe place right now, as a matter of fact. Those of you in Casstown as well. Tip City, you are just on the edge of this warning, but I don't believe there's really a threat in Tip City whatsoever. Circulation is here and it's going to be passing by to the northeast of you. But rural areas between Troy and Tip City certainly could be. This is County Road 25 right here. The closer you get to downtown Troy along this road, certainly there's the possibility for some damage with that cell as it does move on through. The rotation is becoming a little less distinct as what we had earlier, but it's still certainly there. And the Weather Service is now calling this a radar indicated tornado warning, which means that they don't necessarily have verification of anything still being on the ground. But there's the rotation. You can see it very easily still. The winds here are moving away from the radar site, and the winds here are moving towards the radar site. So we have a circulation right in this area here. Let me zoom in on that a little bit better for you so you know exactly where we're talking about. We're talking about areas here, again, Tip Elizabeth Road, Elizabeth Bethel Road, Rudy Road, east of Tip City is where we're talking about with this rotation. And again, it's going to be headed towards the northwest now. And that's going to take it up towards the Troy area coming up here in the next 20 minutes or so. Again, Tip City, you're to the west of the circulation, and I believe any of you who live in the downtown Tip City area, you are not at risk for any damage with this particular cell at this time.
Jamie, you said there was like no indication of it being on the ground anymore. Is that a sign that it might be weakening at this point?
It could be, or it could have just lifted. We don't know if it's on the ground or not. We don't have any visual verification of it being on the ground anymore, but this warning was issued because of radar signs of still rotating, which means it's still potentially capable of producing a tornado. It's possible the tornado is still on the ground. It's possible the tornado has lifted. We just don't know at this time. We don't have any verification of it being on the ground right now. So we will assume that there still is the potential for a tornado touchdown with this particular cell. Again, the rotation right in the center of this cell right here, headed up towards you in the Troy area. So start headed to your safe place in Troy without a doubt. Areas between Troy and Tip City here in rural Miami County, get to your safe spot right now. Casstown, I would head to your safe spot, but we'll continue to track this rotation as it's going to head up right towards the Troy area. This new warning here, this warning right here is set to expire in 1 minute, and then this warning here continues until 10:15 as we'll continue to see this headed off now towards a more northwesterly direction here in Miami County.
Now, Jamie, we're continuing to stream this on Facebook, and there's been a lot of questions about, you know, the areas that these folks live in. And some people are asking about Riverside. Some are asking about Springfield. I know you've been talking about Tip City a lot. Do you know any updates about Riverside or Springfield?
You're in the clear. Both of you are in the clear. Clark County is in the clear. Montgomery County is in the clear for right now. And it's only eastern Miami County that needs to be concerned about this cell right now.
Okay. Okay. A lot of Piqua questions, too.
Piqua's on the northern edge of this new warning. In fact, the old warning just expired. So there you go. Piqua downtown is technically Piqua downtown is north of this new warning, but it's close enough to you that just stay tuned. If this warning is extended northward and westward, Piqua most likely would be included in any additional warnings we might get.
All right, real quick, Jamie, we have a reporter who's out there near Park Lane. That is Nathan Edwards. Nathan, what can you tell us about what you're seeing out there? Any damage?
Well, Adam, we literally just pulled up here a few minutes ago to this gas station off of 235. You could see there's actually a roof of another business that has landed right near the pumps. Now we're being asked to stand back for now because they're not sure if it impacted any gas lines or anything like that, but there are windows broken up on the business. I just heard a firefighter come up and yell inside of the business, "Is anybody in there?" So far, we haven't seen anybody come out. It looks like most of the people are in surrounding businesses watching, kind of seeing what happened. I'm told that the roof that landed on this gas station here actually came from a dollar store nearby. We have yet to be over in that area. I could tell you it is just chaos out here at this moment. There's emergency crews blocking the road. We have side streets here packed with traffic. A lot of people just watching, trying to figure out exactly the extent of the damage. I spoke with one guy who was having dinner at the restaurant next door, and he said that first, he heard the warnings going off, the sirens, and then he saw some funnel clouds in the air, and they ducked down in the restaurant actually next door. And next thing they knew, they looked over here, and there was all this damage. As you see, we're continuing to track this, trying to get more information for you. As soon as we do, of course, we'll provide it to you both online and on air. Adam, Deb, Jamie, back to you guys.
Incredible pictures there, Jamie. Is that what you expected to see when you saw that?
I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know exactly, how much of a direct hit on the densely populated area it was. I didn't know how strong it was. Just from the video, we just knew that there was a tornado on the ground, but certainly now we're seeing the damage that has been that we have up there in the Park Lane area. And the thing is there will be more damage. We just won't know about the extent of it probably until the sun comes up in the morning, because there's a good path of several miles that this may have been on the ground. We just don't know yet, and we don't know if it's still on the ground or not. My guess is it's probably not, but we have to assume that it could be. And the circulation center is getting a little muddier here southeast of Troy. If you're not in your safe spot in Troy, you need to be headed there right now. Basement is best. Lower interior room of your home. Casstown probably going to stay just east of the circulation, but I would play it safe and get in your safe spot there. Tip City, you're okay now. The circulation is northeast of you and will continue to head up towards the Troy area. So no real concerns for you in Tip City anymore. And actually, technically, downtown is outside of the warning anyway. So Troy is really where this is headed for now. Anyone in or southeast of Troy, get to your safe spot. This warning does continue until 10:15 tonight. So we're going to stay with it certainly as we head through the next almost half an hour, and we'll just have to wait and see if we get any other warnings above and beyond that. Now, we have had this that has been moving through. Let me zoom out and just show you again the history of this thing. As the first warning was issued when this was down in Greene County. And let's put this loop for you there. And that was well over an hour ago. So you can see how this has been moving. And now the cell is merging with the main area of rain that is pivoting on this axis right through Montgomery County. Now, hopefully, the merging of this cell with this area of rain will bring the demise of the circulation. That is a possibility, and I'm hoping that is the case, because these cells that have been individual cells out east of this line are the ones that we did have the warnings for. So as it gets absorbed into this area of rain, that will hopefully bring the wind fields to a point where they're not spinning as much, and that will bring an end to the threat of a tornado. But that hasn't happened quite yet, and that's why we still have this warning that does continue, including the city of Troy. We have some lightning along this line as well. Some heavier rain in spots, but thankfully the areas that got the most rain earlier now are starting to get a little bit of a break from that, so the flooding threat should diminish west of Dayton here over the next couple of hours, and these flood advisories will expire as we head through later on this evening. But again, this is the only cell of concern right now. We've got people that are asking, what about where I am? If you're not in eastern Miami County, you don't have any concerns at this moment. Clark County's fine. Greene County, just some rainfall coming down with this, a little bit of lightning as well. This is a new flood advisory from when this cell moved through. This is not moving fast. This cell is only moving about 20 miles an hour. So that is going to bring the flood issues, up with slow moving cells. And that's why we do have the flood advisory in Greene County. But the tornado warning still in effect until 10:15 for Miami County. Let's zoom back in on that and give you an idea of exactly where the threat is once again. And some lightning has flared up here around the Casstown area as well. So keep that in mind. That's another reason to just stay inside and be safe in your home.
Real quick,
yes.
People at home, when they're watching, when they see that outline in red, that is the area that is the hyper focus right now.
That is the warning. Yes, that is the warning. So if you're within this red box, you need to be in your safe place right now. Piqua is just to the north of this warning. If there's another warning on top of this one, Piqua likely will be included in that. But the lightning flare up in Casstown is interesting. The velocity that we're seeing here, the couplet, as we call it, is not looking as strong as it did earlier. We've got winds moving away from the radar site here, towards the radar site here. That's where your circulation is, and that's going to be centered right over the area in the center of your screen here. Knoop Road, State Highway 202, just northwest of Tip Elizabeth Road. This road up here is Shaggy Bark Road, just south of 41. And then as we drift northwestward, there's Troy. So just to give you an idea, it's not too far southeast of Troy. We're talking about only about 3 or 4 miles southeast of downtown Troy. So you need to be in your safe spot in Troy right now. Same in Casstown, as that is where this is headed for. It's going to pass right over the east side of Troy, it does appear. So get to your basement or lowest level interior room in the Troy area right now. Play it safe. We don't know if the tornado is still on the ground or not, but we still have some rotation with this storm, so it certainly is capable of potentially still producing a tornado. Again, the circulation is likely down in here, headed right up over the east side of Troy. So those of you west of 75, probably less of a threat, and there's the western edge of the warning right there. Casstown, we've got some lightning flaring up, which indicates we've got some updrafts developing within the storm here. And that may take the focus away from here and start to put the focus here. And if that's the case and we get the updrafts away from the rotation here, that would mean a little less likelihood of that tornado continuing to be threatening with damage on the ground. So hopefully that's the case. And this whole thing is merging with the area of rain to the west as well. And that hopefully will start to mean the demise of this cell as well. Let me zoom out a little bit more and show you what I'm talking about with that. So there you go. The main area of rain is right here, and as this cell continues to get pulled into it, hopefully that will bring about the weakening of the circulation, but it's not quite there yet. We still have a little bit of distance between the two, and we also still have this. Let me show you this. Let me go over to my white, here we go, load. Okay, so right in here, you've got this little bit of a notch here, which is indicating there's still some airflow into the storm like that, and also we've got some airflow like that, and that's where we have the circulation centered right over this area right in here. So that is going to be Walnut Grove. Okay, they just updated the warning too. So they're seeing the same thing I am in terms of the updating of the warning, that they just cut off the southern edge of it, because now south of the southern edge of this warning, the threat is over because the circulation is now just to the north of there, up in this area here, and headed up in this direction like that. Yes.
Hey, Jamie, I just want to cut in real quick. We just got this in. The 800 block of Bell Fountain Road to Palmer Road in Miami County has been shut down. Apparently, there is a barn roof down. So that whole area, again, the 800 block between Bell Fountain Road, Palmer Road, and Miami County shut down until further notice. So if you're happening to venture out in that area, definitely avoid that area. But again, that's where some of that damage is, we've been told, and we have a crew on the scene or on their way there. We're going to bring you more information as we get it.
Okay, and those were roads we were actually looking at. Bell Fountain and what again?
It is Bell Fountain Road to Palmer Road.
To Palmer Road, okay,
the 800, roughly around the 800 block.
That's just west of Park Lane here. So,
yeah.
So this all is coming together. You know, we get little pieces of information. It's kind of like CSI now. You get some information, try to put this all together now. So there's Park Lane, there's Bell Fountain, and there's Palmer. So we're getting some damage out in this area here, just on the west side of Park Lane. We know that we have damage in Park Lane. Nathan Edwards is up there in the Park Lane area. He showed us some of the damage. So the tornado clearly came through right in this area here and then continued off to the north, but we don't know at any point if it lifted or if it's still on the ground. I'm guessing it probably lifted at some point. It could have lifted and come back down. They do that. They'll come up and down and bounce along the road, along the ground at times. What we do know is that we still have a storm with rotation that's capable of producing a tornado, and that is headed for you in the Troy area right now. So that's the area we're really focusing on. So let me take you back up there and show you where we are now with the warning. There's the warning. The rotation looks like it's, to me, probably up in this area here, just southeast of Troy. So it's going to be heading up in a path. They'll take it between Troy and Casstown over the eastern part of Troy, right along State Route 55. And those are the areas that we really need to be focusing on for folks getting into their safe spot without a doubt. Okay, just check some new information that's coming in. So at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the time of The tornado observation was at 9:18, so about 40 minutes ago or so, they saw it, and we also saw it. That was about the same time that the ODOT camera, I believe, was 9:17 at that time. So they may have seen it about the same time that we caught it on the ODOT camera, and since it was moving, the storm was moving from about the base up towards that Park Lane area, it is logical to assume that if it had been on the ground before that, they probably would have observed it from the base, although there was rain as well. So that may have made it more difficult to observe, but it may not have been on the ground much before Park Lane, maybe touching down somewhere around I-70 south of Park Lane. All right, so here we go. Definitely seeing this inflow notch right here. And then this is also indicating we still have rotation right here, just west of Casstown, right along 55, again, heading right up across 55, and then across areas just northeast of downtown Troy. That's where the potential threat is right now, right in the center of this warning, as a matter of fact. And the Weather Service has been spot on with these warnings in terms of locations throughout the entire evening. So Piqua is still northwest of this warning, not included in the warning technically, but we do have a lot of eastern Miami County that still has that threat for a tornado as we continue over the next, let's see, the warning goes until 10:15, so another 15-20 minutes. And with each passing 5 minutes or so, the National Weather Service will reassess based on what they're seeing on the radar, if they need to issue a new warning, if they need to let the warning expire or cancel the warning, readjust the placement of the warning based on the path, but definitely still some circulation here right over 55, just west of Casstown. Downtown Troy, the circulation is going to stay to your east, but those of you in the northeastern part of Troy here where we have some residential areas, that's too close for comfort, so we need to certainly be in our safe spot here. Anyone north and east of downtown Troy needs to be in their safe spot without a doubt right now, as that's where the main threat is and will continue to be as we head through the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. All right, so let me zoom out a little bit here. Just to,
Jamie,
yes.
Do you sense it slowing down at all, or is it just still tracking north at the same pace?
It's at the same pace. It's at the same pace. Yeah, about 20 miles an hour. So it's not a real fast mover by any means. And that's the only cell of interest right now in terms of danger. We do have a little bit of thunder and lightning here back down in southeastern Miami County and also around the Riverside area, Fairborn area, but mainly just some rain here other than this one cell that continues to show signs of rotation and continues to potentially be capable of producing a tornado here across eastern Miami County. Between Casstown and Troy is where the circulation is. This lightning is increasing here, which may mean that the northern part of this cell is strengthening a little bit. And if that's the case, this may keep on going here for a little while in terms of having the potential. So I don't see this warning being canceled at any time over the next 5, 10, 15 minutes. This current warning goes until 10:15, and we may end up getting another one after that, depending on how things play out here over the next 15 minutes or so. All right. Here we go.
This is Fox 45 News at 10 with Deborah, Linz, Aaro, and Chief Meteorologist Jamie Simpson with your first warning weather. You're watching Fox 45 News at 10.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been under several tornado warnings all night long. Currently, one is still active in the Troy area. And if you're wanting to watch Empire tonight, we certainly apologize for not having that on, but we are working with the network to try to rebroadcast that. But again, several tornadoes all night long. It's been a very precarious situation, and we've been following everything this entire evening.
And quite frankly, as Chief Meteorologist Jamie Simpson said, quite unusual, because at one point we had 3 separate tornado warnings earlier tonight. We have the National Weather Service confirming that one did in fact touch down at Park Lane. There's some damage out there as well. It's been an incredible evening so far.
Yeah, southeast Miami County, a lot of damage. We have Nathan Edwards, who's there on the scene. We're going to go to him in just a moment. But first, let's go to Jamie with a recap. What's going on in the Troy area right now? Jamie.
Yeah, well, we still have this one warning until 10:15 that does include the areas just north and east of downtown Troy. We have a circulation still here just west of Casstown, and and this lightning is increasing, which may indicate that the cell is strengthening a little bit. So the threat is by no means over for those of you in Miami County. If you are south and west of downtown Troy, you're not in this warning. Piqua is just to the north of this warning, and if there is an additional warning that is issued, Piqua would likely be included in the next warning. Again, we have 14 minutes left on this warning. They just actually cut back on the southern part of this warning. So Tip City, you're in the clear. Those of you to the east of Miami County and Clark and Champaign County, no threat for you by any means. It is just here to the east and northeast of Troy that we still have that threat. Now, as I mentioned, this is going to continue to head in a north-northwesterly direction, so Piqua is potentially going to be impacted by the storm coming up here shortly. And again, if we get another warning, that will be one that will include most likely Piqua. So as we zoom out and show you the big picture here, we've got some flood advisories. We've had some flash flood warnings for Butler County. There's been some nasty flooding on the west side of Cincinnati. These are all flood advisories. The rainfall is starting to diminish a little bit, which is going to lessen the flood threat. And the only warning that we have is for that one in Miami County. Some lightning as well down into Montgomery County and western Greene County along this axis of rainfall that will continue as well. But we are going to primarily keep the threat for any damage with this across the Miami County area for the time being. Here is the last hour. You can kind of sense the motion of this, and we're seeing some more lightning flare up on the east side of Dayton as well. So we'll continue to keep a close eye on the cell. We're not out of the woods yet. Still, that tornado warning continues until 10:15 this evening. All right, let's head up to Park Lane where Nathan Edwards joins us live now with what he is seeing. Nathan.
Well, Jamie, we have another a round of storms rolling into the area right now. We're getting hit with some rain. We heard some thunder, lightning, and we hear sirens because take a look behind me. You see we're here at a gas station on 235 Sunoco. You see that white area right there? That's actually the roof of the building mangled up, twisted up there. Now, I talked to the person, the last employee who was in the store. They actually left 3 minutes before the storm hit and made a mess here. The 235 traffic is blocked as emergency crews search the area to make sure everybody is safe, and then they will work to clean up some of this area as well. Now, I talked to a person who was in a restaurant next door. They said they saw funnel clouds up in the air. That's when they heard the sirens going off. They ducked down for cover, and then the next thing they knew, they were looked over here, and there were windows breaking out of the gas station, and of course the damage that you see right here. Now we're going to continue to talk with emergency responders to try to see if there's any other damage. Right now we look around the area. We're not seeing anything else. It looks like it's mostly contained to this gas station, but of course we're going to continue to look around and see what we can find. Back to you.
And Fox 45 News brought it to you live.
If you're in Park Lane, you need to be in the basement.
First on the scene from the area's hardest hit.
Sounded like Velcro ripping off the house.
Reporting live by the second as weather happened. When severe weather hits again, trust Fox 45 News. We'll alert you and keep you safe.